Man, Shinto is thirsty. Look at that dude.
Hello everyone. So today I'm going to do a video for my article about cards that should every player should be getting for the upcoming Gloryfinder if you are planning to play this format. What is Gloryfinder? So Gloryfinder is a Shadowverse Evolve variants of EDH, Elder Dragon Highlander. Is a Highlander format where you can only have one of each card, and it's a multiplayer format which is meant to be played casually with multi people. Yes, the keyword is play casually. Don't you guys go come up with something disgusting. I tell you first. All right. It's supposed to be played casually. All right. Don't show me something weird and I'm gonna come here and scold you guys. All right. So to put it simply, that is what Gloryfinder is a casual format multiplayer, and you can only have one of each card. And for more info, you can actually click on the link here to learn more about what a Gloryfinder is. By right from this picture, you should be able to have a rough understanding of how Gloryfinder the format works. All right. So I actually played it during Table Conquest a few weeks back in one of the convention, and they were doing some trial runs. I guess you can say that trial runs for the format. So the trial runs was a more simplified variant of the Gloryfinder, where there wasn't a glory card, a commander per se. It's more of just teams decks with the deck only having one of each card. So the team we had for that day was Ward. There's a Ward deck. No, sorry, not Ward deck. There's an Amulet deck. There is a Graveyard deck. There is a Phoenix Rooster deck, and there is lastly the Uma deck. So there was a Uma Gloryfinder deck over there for testing, and I managed to play the Amulet deck. Yeah, it wasn't that nice, to be honest. I think Amulet is very wonky. Yeah, so I'm very curious how they gonna, how they gonna make the Amulet precon, because as we will see later, there's actually 4 precons for this Gloryfinder format for everybody to buy. And Amulet is actually one of the team for one of the precons. So with that said, it got me thinking after the trial run of the format. I was like thinking, what good cards are there in the game to be run in this format. From my experience with EDH in Magic the Gathering, cards that are good, cards that can be useful in almost all situations. You want to not play cards that are very niche unless you have a lot of searcher, but as Shadowverse Evolve is still very new compared to Magic, there ain't a lot of searchers currently in the game. So what I would suggest is very, very good generic cards that can be useful always. Okay, let's start off with the board removers. So board remover are very important in this format. It helps to reset the board and give everybody chance to win the game again. So you will need very good generic board removers, and in my opinion, these are some of the better ones. So first of all, Termin's Decree. I think everybody know what it does. It's going to destroy all followers on the field. Very simple, very strong. Next, we have Conflagration. Arguably a worse Termin's Decree, since it doesn't hard remove all the followers. It only deals 5 damage to all followers. But in my opinion, 5 damage is often more than enough to kill most of the followers in this game. There's one reason why you pick Conflagration over Termin's Decree, and that is if your deck runs a lot of followers with big stats, a lot of them with more than 5 defense, Conflagration would be would be better than Termin's Decree because essentially you're wiping all your enemies follower while keeping your bot still intact. And next we have Bahamut, is a followers remover, a mass follower remover, as well as a mass amulet remover. And Bahamut is the only card currently in the game that can mass amulet remove. So if your play group there is someone who's playing amulet deck, you might want to run a Bahamut in your deck to hit him. If you hate him that much, yes, just play one Bahamut and evolve to clear his field. Next, we have Lightning Blast. It's a 5 mana. You can target one follower to banish. It's a graveyard hate deck and last word hate deck. If you pay 5 mana more, it banish all other follower that your enemy controls, which is going to be very good as well, like Conflagration, where you will still have your bot intact, and it's a hard remover because it banish all your enemy followers. Though the cost might be high, I think the effect is small enough to make it for it. And I also forget to add this in my article. Lightning Blast, right, is the only quick mass remover currently in the game. So if you guys still haven't get your Lightning Blast, I suggest getting it now because it's gonna be a staple in Gloryfinder format. Just imagine like a mass bot remover that is quick. Holy, it's gonna be very strong. Okay, so some honorable mentions. I feel that these cards are good as bot removers, but might be a bit niche in what they do. So first of all, we have Hair of Illusion. Hair of Illusion is a banishment bot wipe as well for 10 mana, but in my opinion, it doesn't have any other additional effect. For 10 mana remover, bot wipe remover, it's gonna be very costly. And next we have Fafnir. It deals 5 damage to each other enemy followers on the field. It doesn't destroy your followers. It's kind of expensive at 8 mana, but you get a threat on board, which is 7-8, where I think is fine. Next, Alchemist Law. It deals 4 damage to each enemy follower, which is going to be good because it leaves your followers intact. However, I find this card to be a bit lacking because 4 damage is not strong enough in my opinion as a bot wipe. 5 damage will be just nice. 4 is actually a little bit too little. Yeah. Meanwhile, Alexander is also another bot wipe because it can attack multiple followers on the board. However, it's limited to how much health, how much HP he can trade. Yeah, how much followers he can trade with. Sorry. So it might not be a very good bot wipe in my opinion, but it still have its niche and it's still a threat on board. It deals 5 damage and it's 5/9, which makes him very hard to remove. Next, we have Jin Diak. Even though when playing her base and evolving it on the same turn, she only does 4 damage. However, she does buff all your other followers on the board with 2 defense. This card's gonna be very good in decks that like to flood the board. And then for last one, we have Israfil, which I think is a bit expensive for 9 mana. Her base is Strike Deal 3, which is not that good. So you always want to evolve. And the on evolve is Strike Deal 5, which is a bit costly, yeah. And she does take up 1 evolve slot. So that's the only reason why I don't give it any higher. However, if you can cheat her out, she's gonna be a threat on the board. Yeah, so if you manage to cheat her out, this is a hint on how to play her, guys. Okay, so with that, right, that is all the removers that I think are gonna be very good in this game. I would suggest putting up to 3 bot removers in your deck, a mixture of any of these 3. or if your precon have some even better board removals, then you might not need to add as many from this list. All right, and for the next one, we have single target remover. So why we want to play single target remover when we have mass remover is because a multiplayer format is very political. You might not want to keep destroying someone else's stuff who is not a threat, because if you keep doing that, you're gonna be enemy number one on the table. Yeah, everybody will start hating you for it. So if there's a no need to destroy everything and make enemy out of everyone, you will want to play some single target remover in your deck. So first of all, we have the big four, in my opinion, which is 4 mana, 4 cost, quick removers, single target followers remover mainly. So we have Execution and Acolyte's Light. So Execution can remove Remover and Amulet, making it a very strong card in this format because it is useful in almost all situations. Meanwhile, Acolyte's Light is a graveyard and last word hate card where you banish your enemy follower and heals you for 2. Meanwhile, my solo Dawn to Raindrop Drums and Fiery Embrace might not be as good as these other two, but it's the only other 2 quick spell remover. They are mainly played for their, like I said, they are mainly played for their follower remover ability. The other effect for those 2 cards, unless you have a spell, unless you play spell chain, you play spells, it's gonna be hard to hit spell chain for Fiery Embrace, and unless you play Uma, it's gonna hit 10. It's gonna be hard to hit at least 10 Uma in your graveyard to reduce 2 costs for my solo Dawn to Raindrop Drums. All right, and then for below we have also other removers that I think they are much more niche. So they might not be as generic and strong as the above 4, but they are useful when certain situations hit. So for example, first we have Shape-Shifting Mage. At 2 mana and at 1 evolve point, he can comes in and remove something on the board very fast. So it's a 2-drop remover if you think about it. With 1 evolve point, okay, at least. So it's a 2-drop remover that gonna leave you up with a lot more mana to play, especially if you're playing a deck with very high cost followers. This is one card you might consider to add to your deck because it's a very cheap single target remover. Another one will be Wardrobe Raider. For 3 mana, evolve for 0. You can destroy one other follower from your field, and not destroy me, sorry. You put one follower from your field into his owner cemetery and select an enemy follower on the field and destroy it. So you can send her to the graveyard or send something in last word into the graveyard and destroy your opponent's follower. Embracing Wind is also another 3 cost hard remover, and maybe at cost of some HP. It's also a very cheap hard remover. Meanwhile, Serpent Wrath and Witchbolt, right? Like I said, 5 damage is gonna be very good in this format. 5 damage is gonna kill a lot of followers currently in the game, so they can be a hard remover even though they are technically a soft remover. But the best part is that the second ability is very hard to it's very easy. The second criteria is very easy to meet. So for Serpent Wrath, you have Overflow, you get to draw a card. For Witchbolt is as long as you have a evolve follower on the field, you get to draw a card. You are gonna replenish your hand after casting them, which is gonna be very good. Next we have Rime Wind. You select an unevolved enemy follower on the field and return it to its owner hand. It's a quick spell chain, then you put it on top of the owner tent. You put it on top of its owner's deck instead. Like I said, this is a very cheap temporary removal, so that you still have enough mana to cast other things. So this is why I think this card can be good in this format as well. Meanwhile, Christia Lily is a hard remover for 4 mana. So basically 2 mana, you play her and evolve 2, you put your opponent's card at the bottom of your deck or of their deck. It's a bit like Banishment, and doesn't destroy. So this is also another graveyard and last word hit card. Lastly, we have Earth. And I think Earth is gonna be one of those cards that might really be a staple in this format, because she's the one of the few cards that can interact with opponent's EX area. Yeah. So also at the same time, the follower that she removed from the board is not destroyed. So this also like I say, a graveyard and last word hit. So some other honorable mentions for single target will be, because we have Medusa. So Medusa and Magical Fairy Liliac is a what I call a recurrent remover. So as long as they are on the field, they can keep removing the followers on the board over and over again every turn. So they are one reason why you might want to play them. That might be one reason why you might want to play them. Tribunal of Good and Evil, even though it's 5 mana to destroy one follower, you get to draw after that. And there's a lot of amulet searcher apparently in the game at the moment, so you can always rely on those searcher to search this card out, making your deck having a very reliable single target remover is gonna be good. Call of Conciters is very good in my opinion, even though it's very costly. However, it search for any neutral cards in your deck. Any neutral follower in your deck. And like we have seen above, you have Bahamut, you have Earth, you have Israfil. These are going to be very good target for Call of Conciters, and there are a lot of neutral cards as well that Call of Conciters would love to take from your deck. Yeah. And then next we have Apostate of Repose. Criteria might not be very hard to hit in this format because it's just a standing follower, but it's banish. I'm telling you guys that last word and graveyard decks is going to be very strong. This is why I'm giving like all these graveyard and last word hit cards such as Zoe and Apostate of Repose much more. I won't say credibility. What's the word? I give them much more power. I would say, yeah, power when it comes to how strong the card is, because everything can destroy, but banishing is not as often seen. So this is the reason why these two are on these honorable mentions. And with that said, that is all the removers. So let's move on to resource cards. So resource cards, right, are anything that consists of, in my opinion, are searches, draws, and ramps. So ramps in our word of gaining more play point ahead. And there's only 2 good ramps currently in the game. There's only 3 ram in the game. So first you have Sibyl Waterworm, Dragon Oracle, and Dragonic Fervor. However, Sibyl Waterworm is not very good because it require you to be always it requires you to be fast in hitting the overflow. However, in a format where you can only have 1 of each card, it's hard to be that consistent. And she's only good when you play her as soon as you hit overflow. And like I said, she's the only card in the deck, which makes her very hard to hit. And I don't think is worth to play her because she's only good in that one situation. However, meanwhile, Dragon Oracle and Dragonic Fervor, in my opinion, are very good generic ramp cards that I think all decks should be playing, to be honest. Even if you are, okay, maybe not Dragonic Fervor, but Dragon Oracle, yes. Even you are going to play an aggro deck, that 1 extra mana is going to help you with allowing you to flood the board with more followers. So, in my opinion, every deck should be running at least 1 Dragon Oracle. And for most deck, I'll recommend Dragonic Fervor. For 5 mana, you gain 1 extra play point, and you gain 3 life and you draw a card, meaning it replaces itself, which is going to be good. It's gonna give you some HP so that the turn you don't do anything, you are the turn you're playing this, at least you are not very vulnerable. And speaking of draw, we have all these draw cards. So we have the usual draw. I wouldn't say what not usual draw lah. I would say they are the very straightforward draw. So for 3 mana to draw 2, we have Sacred Plea, Fate's Hand, and Truth Education. Adjudication. Yeah. So each of them actually allows you to draw 2 by paying 3 mana, which is very good. And for you to draw 3, you might have to play King Halo. I know technically she put the cards into EX area, but you know, your EX area is technically a second hand. So yeah, this allows you to draw 3, and Path to Purgatory allows you to draw 3 by paying 3 and 3 life. So why I think sorry, not why I think, I do feel that Path to Purgatory and King Halo might be the better draw compared to Sacred Plea, Fate's Hand, and Truth Education, is because drawing cards in high number are gonna give you a lot more choices, whereas drawing card one by one or drawing cards in lesser size is gonna impair your decision making a bit because you have no idea what you're gonna draw next. So Arterial Light and Nightway might not, in that sense, right, might not be a very good card because it only gives you one draw a turn. However, these are recurrent draw, which if your deck is going to play a very long control style like Haven, these 2 cards are going to be very good because they're going to give you a draw every turn on the field. Especially Night's Way, right, is for free. As long as there's no cards in your EX area, you can put the top card of your deck to the EX area for free. Very, very good. Meanwhile, the last 2 draws that I think they are very good in generically are Daria and Dual Ex Machina. They are much more of a I discard my whole hand and refill my whole hand again kind of draw. For Daria, you'll be putting your EX area. For Dual Ex Machina, you're going to be drawing 4. So these are another way to refill your hand. Very, very good. And lastly, for this section, we have the searches. So as you can see, first of all, let's do the Amulet Searcher. We have Globe of the Starways, Starry Elf, Geno, and you have Prism Priestess. Sorry, Geno is this one. Yeah, Search an Amulet. Geno Priestess is Amulet Searcher. So we do have a lot of Amulet Searcher in this game. So there's something that I haven't really go and explore, but I think Amulet might be essential in this format, given that how much searcher we are getting out from the game itself. And as for spell searcher, we have Merlin. You can search your deck for a spell. Very, very good. And then next, Gemstaff Commander. If you are playing a sword deck, you can search for any sword followers. Aether of the White Wind will be something for the Haven decks. Alright. Do remember that Gloryfinder you can mix all the class. It's just that really some of the team decks that you get, right, there'll be much more like sword cards, much more Haven cards. So searches like Gemstaff Commander and Aether of the Wind will be much more better in those decks. And it's because since they allow you to search any followers that is of that class, you can actually just combo them for another card. So for example, like I could play Aether of the White Wing just for Aegis. I can play Gemstaff Commander just for Alexander or Leonidas. That's how I see this card. That's why I think this card are very, very good. Mate Leader will be one of the strongest searcher in this format, in my opinion, because as we know, followers that have evolved are usually the strongest cards, such as Lucifer, Bahamut, Israfil, Leonidas. So Mid Leader able to search those cards out is actually very, very strong. I will say that every deck should be playing one mid leader as well. And lastly, for searcher, we have an Statue Seraph, which on first look might not look very good, right? Because it needs 4 turns, and then you need to wait to ensure that you survive the 4th turn, and then you get the cards, and then you only can play the cards during the next turn, which make her look very bad. However, the thing is, she take any 2 cards from your deck, put into EX area, and cast it for free. Why is it important that any 2 cards? Why? Okay, so because there is one combo that will win you the game. So let's move on to the threats. So for the threats, I mean, I'm going to skip all of this and move straight to what are the 2 cards that Seraph want to take. You want to take Duo Anomaly plus outrunning the enroaching hit. Because I have no idea why they allow this. In fact, I've not seen any ban list yet, but I think they should come up with a ban list for this. You know, imagine giving Deepwood Anomaly Storm. He doesn't have to kill anyone. You just have to touch someone and you win the game. It's so stupid. Yeah, this 2 combo I think is gonna be going to every single deck because it's an auto win con once you draw these 2 cards. Right? Once you get him and you play give it Storm, you outright win the game as long as nobody can answer it. Correct? And if somebody can answer it, which is why I think Seraph is very good, because it make them cost 0. You can always give it Aura with Armor of the Stars or Mist Shaman. When you evolve, you give an outflow on the field Aura. And it makes Deal Anomaly so hard to remove. It's not impossible to remove, alright? It still can be removed. I'll let you guys think about how to remove it, but it is still possible to remove, but it's so hard to remove. And you outright win the game out there then and then. So if new players don't know what the hell you're doing with Statue Seraph, and once the 4th turn have passed, you're not gonna outright win the game with this Deepwood Anomaly combo. Okay, but with that set aside, Deepwood Anomaly itself is still a very threatening card. Once it's on the field, your opponent are all gonna panic to try to remove it. So that's why I think it's a good generic track card. The next good generic track card I will say is Lucifer. Not the base variant, but his evolved variant. And that's because it deals 4 damage to each enemy leader. That is just plain stupid. The more opponent you have, the more damage it does. Yep. And you don't even have to attack with it. It's just, okay, Lucifer, evolve, stand there, I give it Aura. Yay! Everybody's gonna take 4 every turn. Yay! It's gonna be so fun. Yay! I don't even have to attack with Lucifer and everybody's gonna take 4. And next we have Izudia. This old man. Is evolve also. It deals 6 freaking damage to every leader. Enemy leader, actually. Yeah, enemy leader. However, it's not as strong as Lucifer in my opinion. Mainly because, first of all, they must be 10 health and above. If any oh yeah, I need to check the ruling on this. This is interesting. I just realized something. Izudia. So does it? Okay, maybe the evolve variant. Let's check the FAQ. Wait, there's no FAQ for this card? Okay, so currently there's no FAQ for this card, but I'm thinking, right, it should work like this. So it deals 6 damage to each enemy leaders with at least 10 defense. So if your playgroup there's someone with 6 defense left, the Izudia will not hit them. I'm pretty sure that's the ruling. Yeah, so if you guys know the actual ruling, do let me know. But I think that's how the ruling actually worked for this card. Yeah, so first of all, you need each enemy leader to be at least 10 defense for this ability to actually affect them. And then one more thing is that you need to tap it. That's my main problem. You have to tap this card. It's a 5/5 and it's gonna be left open for enemy followers to attack him. Yeah, so and the evolve cost is okay, the evolve cost is alright, like it costs 1. But yeah, my main problem with it is you have to tap it, so you leave it open to attack. The next generic trait I would say is Lyria Archer Throne. Even though she only does 2 damage, she's very hard to remove. Basically because she have quite high HP. And secondly is because her tap effect is a quick effect. So you can always wait until the last minute to tap her to reduce the risk of her being attacked by any other follower. So you could literally just do it like just before the last person end step where they proceed to end turn, and you just okay, I'll tap Lyrica, my turn, untap. And Lyrica not Lyrica, Lyria will not be a target for attack. So and that's why I think she should be on this list. I think everybody should be getting it as well. She's gonna be super irritating. Next, we have Dark Alice as a good generic threat. So strike each opponent discard a card if they have. If they try to remove her by destroying her, you can always bring it back by banishing the top 10 cards of your deck and put this back into the field and discarding a card. Why this card is so irritating is because every time she stays on the field, your opponent have to discard a card. And if your opponent have to remove her, they are essentially already discarding a card from their hand to remove her already. This is why I think this card is super good, even in standard. Oh no, not standard. Even in the normal format. And I think after you play her, right, you're gonna lose a lot of friends. That for sure. That's for sure because it's damn hard to remove unless your playgroup really hates you and play a lot of banish. Yeah, so Dark Alice is gonna be one of those threats that I hope to see in the Glory format because it's gonna be very chaotic. And Azazel is also another card that's gonna be very chaotic because when he enters the field, he deals he forces each opponent to discard a card randomly. And on evolve, he's basically how do I say this? A communist. Yes, it's gonna make everybody's life 10 except yours because you're the supreme leader. Very, very good communist card in my opinion. And it's red. Ha! Okay, jokes aside. Just imagine everybody is at 30 health and they drop to 10 health. This is even more broken than Lucifer in a sense. You also could helps to mend some relationship. Like if you know someone is dying and then you just look at him, hey bro, do you want to survive another turn? Alright, I'll change your health to 10 from 1 to 10. Yeah, you just healed 9. And from there you got another comrade on the field to help you out with the game. Pretty nice. Righteous Devil, not the base, but the evolve, is a threat. It's a threat, not because he can do anything. It's a threat because if your opponent do something, they might regret it. Yeah. So I would like to play this on the board, and I'll evolve it, and I'll just leave it on the board, not attacking, nothing at all. Because every time opponent drops a follower, they have to think, okay, if my follower get removed, everybody gonna minus 1 life, and he's gonna gain 1 life. Oh no. And if there's a big bot and I just drop Righteous Devil, now the control player is going to think, oh, do I remove the bot? If I remove the bot, for each follower on the board, each opponent's gonna take 1 damage, and you get to heal 1 for each follower destroyed. So very fast, as long as like it's not a strong card the opponent have to remove, but it's irritating enough that if they don't remove, it's gonna change the life, the differences in life point between players very very fast. So I think this is why these are good track cards. We have been through this, so yes. Yeah, so aura is going to be also another big thing in this game, where if you can give on any of these followers aura, such as Lucifer, Righteous Devil, Lyrica, Dark Alice, is gonna make them a lot stronger. So with that, I think that wraps out all the generic cards that I think will be good in this format. So if you guys still haven't get your hand on any of these cards, I suggest getting them out soon, because you know how the market works. Once they hear that, oh, cards gonna be good, oh, price up, it's very typical. So if you I would suggest that if you are very interested in this format and foresee yourself playing this long term, try to get this card ASAP. And then next we have the precons. So as for writing this article, right, the full list is not the full deck list for each deck is not out yet, and each of these decks are actually very interesting. They are very they are very loyal to the class. I wouldn't say archetype. What was the word for it? They are very loyal to the class. What the class represent, yes. So first we have the Exalted Blade, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. So from what I'm saying, is a deck that likes to flood the board. I think it does have a little bit of mix of like cheap evolve to deal small damages. But the main important thing is you flood the board and you buff the board, and have a lot of very cheap rush in the deck. So what I suggest adding to the deck is something like such as Sage Commander, where it gives +1/+1 to all followers, no matter what class they belong to. It's a very good AoE buff. And then next we have Staircase to Paradise. I think this is one of the better draw cards for this deck, because since you're always flooding the board, you can easily rack up the 6 soul counters for this card, and then when you tap it and put it in the graveyard, you can look at the top 5 and take 2 cards. Mainly, it allows you to choose 2 of the 5 battle options to add to your hand. Very very good. And like I said, Jin Dia before is a very good board wipe, plus it buffs your board with 2 health. Meanwhile, Dark Jin is a bit harder to use, but I think it's gonna be very good inside the deck, because you want to try to end the game fast, so you have to play Dark Jin to give all the followers +2 attack, even though it deals 2 damage to each follower. Why she is good? Because not only does she +2 attack, if that 2 attack and the 2 attack to the board still doesn't kill your opponent, you can evolve her, and it deals 4 damage to each leader, including yourself, but 4 damage to each enemy leader as well. Yeah, so she can help you end the game much better, especially if you're trying to be fair. Sometimes in politics game, I'm trying to be fair. Oh, I'll attack the one with the most HP. Then everybody is like, wow, this guy is so fair. And everybody low HP, and just Dark Jin, everybody just die. Yeah. So Dark Jin is going to be very good in this precon, in my opinion. For next one, we have the Ravaging Creator, which play mainly the Phoenix Rooster style. So you have a lot of high cost follower, and you got many ways to cheat out those high cost follower, either from your deck or from your hand, or if from your EX area. So for this, right, I find it weird that they didn't add Dragon Oracle, nor did they add Dragonic Fever into these precons. I would suggest everybody get this Dragon Oracle ASAP, because Dragon Oracle is a structured deck exclusive. I want to remind everybody, it's a structured deck exclusive. And out of the 4 precons, only 1 precon have this Dragon Oracle. So if you still haven't get your hand on Dragon Oracle, go and get it. Alright. Like I said, yeah, 2 ranks. And since a lot of those big followers, right, are gonna have very high stats, yeah, I think you can, and it does have DO anomaly if I remember correctly. Let me go and check. Is it here? No, it's not here. Where could it be? Ah, it's here. Yeah, it does have DO anomaly. However, it doesn't have the storm spell. So what we are gonna do is we're gonna add the storm spell. We're gonna make it not fair. And then yeah, because it's the deck, like I said, the deck runs a lot of other big followers as well. They are gonna be very good. I mean, the storm spell is gonna be good with them as well. It's a very good synergy. And also because the deck do runs what is this card? Word Wielder Ginger. So Ginger is another way to cheat out big cards from your hand. Yeah, forget NRG. Ginger. Yeah, but the problem is that her drawback is that their fanfare ability cannot be performed and they cannot attack enemies. So I'll put in 1 Lucifer in the deck. So with Ginger, you can put Lucifer on the field, evolve Lucifer for free, and deals 4 damage to each enemy leader. Woo-hoo! Good times. In my opinion, this deck, right, will be one of the most unfair decks once it start upgrading. Really, if you guys still haven't pre-order, or you guys are thinking what to get, and you don't mind spending a bit more, I would suggest going for this Ravaging Creator. It's going to be one of the stronger precon to upgrade. And then for next, we have the Everlasting Garnet. Sadly, it's not the Everlasting Guilty Crown, my most favorite anime. Rip Inori. This is more of a graveyard deck, and I would say this is one of the harder precon to play. When I saw the deck list, it has a lot of milling, sending cards from deck to the graveyard, and a lot of graveyard retriever. Mainly for followers, yes. So you have Death Breath, you have what mummy was it? Undead King, yes, to take back 2 followers back to hand. So it's more of a graveyard and reviver deck. Yeah, I would say that's the theme of this deck. So first thing first is that it has a lot of strong spells in deck. However, as of writing of this article, right, I don't see any spell retriever. So the first thing I'll add is Agnes Tachyon. So mainly for the evolve, so that you can select a spell and add it back to hand, so you can get to use those spells. So if you actually mill any of your spell, Agnes Tachyon can help you get it back. Next thing I'll add is Archangel Rena. So during the test run of the Gloryfinder at the convention, what I realized for the revival deck is that there's only a few cards that you want to revive. Most of your cards are there to support your deck. However, those strong cards are cards that have evolve, and once they evolve, there's no, like, you will want the evolve again, but because you only can play 1 evolve, you can't evolve those cards. So Archangel Rena is there to refresh your evolve deck, so that you can evolve again, evolve those follower again. So there's one thing I'll add to the deck. And next we have Daria, Dimension Witch, because the deck has a very good, I would say a very good mix of followers and spell. When she evolve, when she refresh your hand, you can the top 5 card put into EX area will really be a very nice amount of follower and spell for you to choose to reduce their cost to play instantly. At the same time, she has a discard your hand effect. which in my opinion is important in this deck because sometimes you draw those big followers, right? And you can't play them. You want to discard them to the graveyard to be able to cheat them out. So Daria is useful in doing that. Also because the deck runs a bit of a spell chain, Daria is going to be important to add those rune followers in the graveyard towards the spell chain count for the spell chain cards. So I think Daria is going to be a very good card to add to upgrade into this decks. For the last one, we have the Eagle Eye, which is a Haven control amulet kind of deck. It's not hard to play per se, but it doesn't really have a good generic win condition. Like when I saw the deck, right, I was damn confused. Like, okay, so I can control, remove. How do I win the game? This game is either you play a game where you deck out your opponent, or you have to find some other win con. So the first win con I can think of is playing Lishana, because Lishana can give you Destruction in Black, which is a amulet that at the start of my main phase, I deal 2 damage to each enemy leader. So it's a deal 2 damage to your opponent. Very good. And the white one heals you. And it does add towards the count of amulets on the board for this deck, because this deck I think have cards that wants to count the amount of amulet on your board, and this will populate amounts of amulet on your board. And next we have Champion's Passion, a Uma card. So 7 mana. It comes in. Okay, it comes in, it doesn't deal. But at the start of your main phase, you can keep dealing 4 damage to either an enemy leader or a follower. Might not seem very good at first. However, you can cheat this out in the deck. You can cheat this 7 cost amulet out, if I'm not wrong. Or at least you can cheat this out with the next card I'm adding. And for the good thing is that it doesn't deal 4 damage to only a leader. It allows you to deal to follower, which give you more control on the board, which is why I think this is very good. And it's a good finisher for this deck. Star Priestess, is something that we've been seeing a bit for set 4. Mainly you will want to use her evolve effect in this deck, where you can get back an amulet back onto the board, or for you to remove a heart to remove amulet, to make space to remove a heart to remove amulet. For an amulet in your graveyard that's easier to remove, such as Secret Plea, where you just tap it to draw a card and then you create a space. Because what I find for amulet deck is that you always have limited board space, and that's going to be very irritating. So Star Priestess, I think, is a very good upgrade to the deck to make sure that you don't board lock yourself. And then lastly, I will recommend Path to Budgetary to add into your deck, because 3 mana to draw 3 is broken as hell. Even though it deals 3 damage to your leader, but you start at 30 health. You have the camera. You have 30 health to play with. So it's just a small amount of damage for 3. You get to draw 3 cards, you refill your hand. Very strong card. And because the deck runs a lot of Amulet Searcher, you're gonna get this card out very easily. And that would be all my recommendation for the precons. So all the upgrade recommendation for the precons. So it's coming out in 19 July and July 90th. So hopefully you guys already pre-order. If you have not pre-ordered, you guys have to wait for it to come out. Hopefully, I hope shops do carry enough of it. It seems like it's going to be a very fun format. So with that said, guys, please share in the comment like what do you think of this recommendations, what do you think of the precons, and how are you going to build your Gloryfinder deck. You know, I hope to see some good ideas. Hopefully not too disgusting. Don't make me vomit. All right. And with that said, guys, thank you for watching. All right, I'll see you guys next time.